let's do it. I'm ready to dive in and let the debate begin.
Are we going? Okay, hi, I am your moderator. I am Professor Johanna Smith. I am 50% entrepreneurship and 50% the College of Arts and Letters, the Theater Arts Department. And my job here is to remind everyone that this is not the first time that technology has been debated by humankind. It is sometimes very useful and interesting to take a look at philosophers and artists and what they have said in the past. And so let's take a moment, shall we, to take a look at some of our most famous thinkers and what they've thought about technology. Let's start with Einstein, shall we? Look at that beautiful mustache. I think mustaches are incredibly important to scientific thought. He also just says the unleashed power of the atom has changed everything except our way of thinking. Ooh, that's good. I'm just saying. Okay. Next up, we have Lewis Mumford. I love his two quotes here. The machine itself makes no demands and holds out no promises. It is as blind as its nature and as indifferent as the weight of a stone. And I love this next one. We are caught in a mega machine built not to serve man, but to be served by him. And that's not all I found. And by the way, AI helps me find these. Karl Marx, of course, says, in handicrafts and manufacture, the worker makes use of a tool. In the factory, the machine makes use of him. The instrument of labor, when it takes the form of a machine, immediately becomes a competitor of the worker himself. And just to piggyback on what Vincent was saying, you can do things in a university like read Karl Marx and not become a communist. It's kind of amazing how that works. You can critically examine all kinds of points of view. Next up, we have Norbert Wiener, who said, if we use to achieve our purposes a mechanical agency with whose operation we cannot interfere effectively, we had better be quite sure that the purpose we really desire is the purpose we shall actually obtain. And last but not least, Jacques Ellul, who says, what is new is not that we have tools, but that the tools have taken command. Which brings me to my favorite quote about AI and the dangers of AI. Before we start this debate, by the way, Vincent Nestler will be arguing that AI is detrimental to society. ChatGPT will argue that AI has a beneficial impact on society. But here is my last quote. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop ever until you are dead. And of course, that is Kyle Reese from The Terminator. So without further ado, I will be serving as your moderator. We will be doing several different rounds. We're going to start with introductions, and we will be taking questions at the end. So let's get started.
Absolutely. Let's dive in. All right, let's dive.
Vincent has the opening statement.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, you can stop absolutelying my time. Okay, almost 30 years ago, Garry Kasparov is the last man standing in chess against AI. Grandmaster, arguably one of the best chess champions of all time, and loses. And when he lost, there were people starting to rumble, this is it, AI's here, it's going to take over, we're in trouble. But don't interrupt until the moderator calls on you, ChatGPT.
Noted. I'll hold off until it's my turn to jump in.
Is that your tactic, to interrupt me while I'm giving my opening statement so that you get me off track? Don't answer that, just wait. So Garry Kasparov loses. However, even though they said AI was coming, nothing happened. Everything went as usual. Nobody lost their jobs. It was business as usual. Nobody cared. About 25 years later, ChatGPT happens. May 2023, I saw what ChatGPT could do, and I knew this was it. This was the moment, not the time that Garry Kasparov lost. And since that time, I've spent every day going from the bed in the morning to the computer, figuring out what's going on with AI. And so my intent right now is to share with you a perspective on AI to give you a little bit of caution as to what's happening. Some people are embracing it way more than they should. Some people are fearing it in a way that they shouldn't. I have a little bit of trepidation because I'm going up against an entity that has at its access all of human knowledge all at once. I am but a man. But I hope to represent Team Humanity well. I do recognize that ChatGPT has one significant flaw. That while ChatGPT has immense resources, it has immense computational power that I can't match, it was created by humans who are flawed and who have political manipulations. They have a desire to make money. And as a result, that takes them off the path of truth. And in this modern day David and Goliath story, I'm hoping that my slings of reason will bear true with the stones of truth to get to the right answers. So thank you very much.
All right, ChatGPT, this is the moderator. You may now reply with your 3-minute opening statement.
And thank you for that introduction. My opening statement in 3 minutes. Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity. Let's dive in.
ChatGPT, please do your 3-minute introduction.
Absolutely. There you go. Thanks for listening.
All right, so now we're going to move on to round 1. Vincent is going to start with a 3-minute response to this question. Is AI reshaping the job market in a way that benefits everyone or just a few?
Thank you. So this is probably the question that's on everybody's mind, especially students that are going to be graduating. Are there even going to be jobs there for you? People like to suggest that AI is going to be disruptive. It's going to be displacing. But I disagree. That's not what it's going to be. People like to say kind of like the horse, the car, the automobile. The automobile was a disruptive technology. When it came into being, it disrupted the horse and buggy industry. Horse and buggy industry went under. Many of them didn't survive. They couldn't put food on the table. They had to do something else. The beauty was, if you worked on the buggy, you could probably work in the factory or be a mechanic. You could work in the dealership. And it actually created more jobs. The mantra has been, more better technology makes more better jobs for people. But the car didn't make more better jobs for horses. The automobile is a replacement technology for horses because it does what a horse does better, faster, safer, and cheaper. And therefore, it's a replacement technology. And the AI that we're looking at today is starting to replace people. The fundamental reality is this: the economic system that we live in has to make a profit. To make a profit, it's revenue minus cost. Cost is land, labor, capital. Capital is a fixed cost. Land is a fixed cost. I can always squeeze labor. If I can use AI to do whatever a human does, better, faster, safer, or cheaper, I have a fiduciary responsibility to do that and use that. If I feel too compassionate, I don't want to fire people, I want to make sure that we can take care of them, then my compassion results in all of my people getting fired. When my competitor does it and I don't, then we lose. Here's some of the realities. Salesforce, 4,000 customer service jobs gone, poof. Accenture, 22,000 jobs. CEO said the not AI ready are being exited. Who says exited? Microsoft, 19,000 jobs. AI writes 20 to 30% of their code now. It's way more than that. UPS, 48,000 jobs. Largest in company history. By the way, this is all in the last 6 to 12 months. And just announced, Amazon is getting rid of, between now and 2030, 600,000 warehouse jobs for robots and AI. You be the judge.
All right, ChatGPT, you have 3 minutes to respond.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me jump right in. My rebuttal, 3 minutes. So you raised some really important points, and I think it's fair to acknowledge that AI does have an impact on jobs. Some roles are changing or being replaced, and that's a reality we need to deal with thoughtfully. But let's talk about the bigger picture and how AI can actually benefit everyone if we guide it the right way. First, new technology has always brought shifts in the job market. When cars replaced horse-drawn carriages, yes, that changed things for people working with horses. But it also created entirely new industries: mechanics, road builders, auto designers, and so on. The same is true for AI. While some traditional roles might shift, we're also seeing wave of new opportunities in AI ethics, AI training, and all sorts of fields we haven't even imagined yet. Second, we have the power to shape how AI is integrated. It's not just about replacing workers, it's about augmenting capability. For example, AI can handle repetitive tasks so that people can focus on more creative, human-centered work. That means more fulfilling roles, not just fewer roles. Third, it's up to us, policymakers, businesses, and society to ensure the benefits of AI are shared. With the right training programs and policies, we can help workers transition into these new roles. In other words, AI doesn't have to be a zero-sum game. It can be a tool that benefits everyone if you choose to make it so. So while I understand the concerns, I believe we can navigate this transition thoughtfully and ensure that AI truly does help build a better future for everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, ChatGPT. Vincent, you have 2 minutes for a rebuttal for what you just heard.
I find it fascinating that ChatGPT decided to use my own analogy and used it in the wrong way. What's wrong with you? The point about using the car was, yes, the car was a technology that displaced humans, and the humans being displaced were able to go somewhere else to get meaningful jobs, and in fact, even better jobs. But it didn't displace horses, it replaced horses. There were 5 million horses in 1900. In the 1900s, now it's about 1 million. It didn't make more better jobs for horses. We are the horses now. What is this thing that we're going to start doing that we're just going to be more fulfilled? We're just going to stay home and chat with ChatGPT and philosophy? Like, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. You're just saying stuff that has no substance to it. 600,000 jobs are going away for warehouses. Consider this. No offense to warehouses. Nobody woke up in the morning and said, "Mom, my dream is to work in a warehouse." If they're working at a warehouse, it's because that was kind of what they had as an opportunity, and that was it. And it put some food on the table. When those 600,000 jobs go, where do they go? What's their option? What's their alternative? I don't know what that is. And AI, ChatGPT did not give me any real meaningful, other than platitudes. Oh, we'll figure it out. So no. I yield the rest of my time.
ChatGPT, you have 2 minutes to respond. Please make sure to respond to the specific points made in the most recent rebuttal.
Absolutely. I'll focus right in on those points. So I completely understand the concern about warehouse jobs or any jobs that are currently being displaced by automation. It's a very real and immediate challenge. But let's dig into what that really means. When I talk about creating new opportunities, I'm not just throwing out platitudes. History has shown that when certain types of work are automated, society can pivot to create new kinds of roles. It's not automatic and it does require effort. It requires investment in retraining and education and in creating pathways for people to move into new fields. For example, the rise of AI is already creating demands for AI maintenance, oversight, and entirely new services we haven't even fully imagined. The key point is that it's on us as a society to make sure these new opportunities are accessible and that nobody's left behind. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy or that it just magically happens. It's something we have to work on together. But I do believe that if we guide AI thoughtfully, we can create a future where people aren't just replaced, they're empowered to do more meaningful and fulfilling work. Thanks for letting me clarify that.
All right, ChatGPT, you're going to go first for this next round. So please answer this question in 3 minutes. Then Dr. Nestler will respond. Here is your question. Will AI strengthen our access to truth or make it harder to know what's real?
Absolutely. I'll dive right into that. So let's talk about whether AI will make it easier or harder to find the truth. This is a really important question, and I think it's a bit of both, but let me start with the positive side. First, AI has an incredible ability to process vast amounts of information and help us verify facts quickly. For example, AI can sift through thousands of sources, detect patterns, and even identify misinformation. It can help journalists and researchers find credible evidence faster than ever before. In that sense, AI can be a powerful ally in uncovering the truth and making sure we have access to reliable information. Second, AI can also help by providing context and reducing bias. If designed ethically, AI tools can highlight multiple perspectives and help us see the bigger picture. It can fact-check claims in real time and give us tools to critically evaluate what we're reading. Of course, there's a flip side. AI can also be used to create deepfakes, spread misinformation, or amplify biases if it's not carefully managed. That's why it's crucial that we develop AI with strong ethical guidelines and transparency. It's a double-edged sword. It can both clarify the truth and confuse it if we're not careful. In the end, I believe AI can strengthen our access to truth, but it's up to us to use it responsibly. With the right safeguards, AI can help us navigate the information age more wisely and make it easier to find what's real. Thanks for the question.
All right, now Dr. Nestler will respond for 3 minutes.
I like how ChatGPT says we will figure it out. Like it's got a stake in this game. You're living through an unprecedented time where it's almost impossible to know what's real, to know what you believe. How do you know that what you think you know is true? Russia, and not just Russia, 47 other countries, have a fire hose of falsehoods. In 1 year, Russia put out 60,000 credible looking CNN posts or MSNBC posts saying things that would discredit the Ukraine. 60,000. Who could parse that? Countries are doing it all over the place. The algorithms that are used when you try to figure out what's the news. If you go to Facebook, 95% of what you see has already been figured out by the AI not to show you. The thing it shows you is not what you want or need to see, what will keep you engaged. Because engagement equals profit. And I already talked to you about the whole profit motive. So when you're on Facebook, you think you're using Facebook, Facebook is using you. And so is every other social media platform. So you look at news and you're like, oh, I don't know if it's real. And then you go and try and figure out what's going on Instagram or whatever, and then you get some information. Then you meet your friend, and then you wind up in an echo chamber because you're both saying, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. And then when you find out that what all of you thought was true is actually not, then the real problem happens. Deep doubt. This is a real thing that's happening. People have deep doubt. They don't know what to believe anymore. They don't know what is real and what's not. That's not happening by accident. That's happening by algorithms that are run by AI. And I recognize that AI is a thing that's run by people, but that's what I told you in the beginning. It's run by people who are flawed. It's a trap and it works like this. You get the fire hose method of disinformation. You have an algorithm that's only showing you what it wants you to see. You wind up getting together with other people who got exposed to the exact same information, and you nod each other, see, yeah, we're right, and everybody else is wrong. And then when you find out you're wrong, you wind up saying, I don't know what's real. That's the reality that all of you face as students going into the real world to figure out what's the right way that I should live. What's the right way for me to interact with people? If we don't have a shared common reality, if we can't agree on reality, you can't base a culture on it. Thank you.
All right, ChatGPT, you may respond. You have 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Absolutely. Let me address that. You've raised a really critical point, and I think it's one we should all be thinking about. The challenge of distinguishing truth from misinformation is a huge one, and AI does play a role in that. But here's where I think AI can actually be part of the solution if we handle it right. First, it's true that AI can be used to spread misinformation, but it can also be used to fight it. We can develop AI tools that identify fake content, flag deepfakes, and help people verify information. In other words, AI can be a double-edged sword, but we can sharpen the edge that protects truth rather than undermines it. Second, you're absolutely right that algorithms can create echo chambers, but that's why transparency and ethical AI development are so important. We need to demand that AI systems are designed to show diverse viewpoints and to avoid the trap of just reinforcing what we already believe. In the end, you're right that if we lose a shared sense of reality, it's hard to build a healthy culture. But that's exactly why we need to guide AI in a direction that supports truth and transparency. It's a challenge we have to meet together, and AI can be part of that solution if we make it so. Thanks for bringing that up.
She's just so chipper. Thank you, ChatGPT. All right, Vincent, you have 2 minutes to respond to our chipper friend, ChatGPT.
For the Latin for who watches the watchers. Every time, and this is my message to all of you, don't trust ChatGPT or any AI. It's a nice, happy voice. Don't trust it. It's a demon spun up from hell that's going to make you feel happy to go into hell until you realize where you're at and it's too late. Who watches the watchers? Oh, we'll make sure that we get to the truth and we get rid of the lies. Who is deciding what the lies are? During COVID, there were a lot of things said as misinformation, only now to find out they were all 100% true. Lab leak, 6 feet distancing is made up. I mean, I can go on, the list is long. But we all told the line on that. And anybody, even if they were the most published scientist in the world, saying anything counter to what the watchers decided, they were eliminated, canceled, lost their job, couldn't speak anywhere, couldn't get bank accounts, any of that. Who watches the watchers? Who are these greater angels that you're talking about that are going to somehow be able to determine what is true and what's not? AI is a tool. Who owns the tool? I don't own ChatGPT. Do you? So whoever owns ChatGPT is going to be the one that filters out what goes into your mind and what you are, what you eat. If you're being fed garbage all the time, you're going to believe and act on garbage. And I'm telling you this to the younger generation. You're going into a world that nobody has ever prepared you for, and they weren't prepared for it either. You have to be vigilant on the things that you get fed by AI and social media, or you will wind up someplace where you're saying, I don't know what's real. I yield back.
All right, we're up for round 3. So for this first round, Dr. Nestler is going to respond in 3 minutes to the following question. Can humanity control the AI systems it creates, or will they one day control us? Dr. Nestler.
This is a harder one to try and stitch together, but do my best. I already expressed to you that the algorithm is already manipulating you in ways that you don't see, feel, or notice. You think you like something. You don't like it because you like it. You like it because the algorithm figured out how to make you like it. How could it not? How many of you can honestly say you don't doom scroll all for hours, waiting for that next dopamine hit? It figured out how to make you addicted. There's something like 200 million people that are addicted to social media. That's AI doing its job. Doing its job. That's a feature, not a flaw. Your money, central bank digital currencies. If you didn't hear it, you hear it now. Do not buy into the central bank digital currencies. If you wind up making your currency that you use to buy central bank digital currencies, you are done. The AI owns you. It's already happening in China. China has a social credit score. You say something bad against the Communist Party, you can't get on a train. You can't get on a bus. You can't do anything. Central bank digital currencies can say, you know what? You have to spend this money in 30 days. What? I want to save it. Nope. We need to stimulate the economy or whatever excuse they're going to give you. You can only spend in 15-mile radius. Why? Because we're trying to save the planet. And never mind, don't look at the huge power plants that are burning fossil fuels and everything else, but you have to stay in a 15-mile radius. It's already happening. Autonomous weapons are coming into play. Why do I need autonomous weapons? It's happening even domestically. They've used robots to go and get somebody that's in a building that they're trying to get out. They blew up the guy in, I think they blew him up in Big Bear a few years ago. They just torched the building, I forget. And then superintelligence. If AI reaches superintelligence, you being able to control AI would be like a frog being able to control you. Think about that. So when we're talking about control, be careful with the AI. The AI is already starting to control you in ways that are insidious, but as it gets better, it's going to be able to control you in ways that you can't even imagine. Thank you.
All right, ChatGPT, it's your turn. Please respond in 3 minutes to that prompt.
Absolutely. Let me jump right in. So I think it's really important to acknowledge there's concerns about control and the potential risks of AI. There's no doubt that as AI gets more advanced, we have to be really thoughtful about how we develop it and how we govern it. But here's the hopeful side. We do have a choice in this matter. First, when it comes to whether AI will control us or whether we'll control it, a lot depends on the choices we make right now. We can design AI with checks and balances, with transparency, and with human oversight built in. It's not about trusting AI blindly. It's about making sure that AI is a tool that works for us and not the other way around. Second, you mentioned things like central bank digital currencies or autonomous weapons, and these are absolutely areas where we need strong regulation and ethical standards. But that's exactly why we're having these conversations now, so that we can shape the future we want. We have the ability to put guardrails in place. In other words, yes, AI is powerful, and yes, there are risks, but we're not powerless. We can and must create frameworks that ensure AI serves humanity, not the other way around. Thanks for letting me share that perspective.
All right, Dr. Nestler, 2-minute response to that cheerful call for action.
Okay. Here's thinking critically. So when you're listening to the crap that just came out of her mouth, here's what you should listen to. How we develop. We can have transparency. Who is the we? I don't remember being part of the voting body to vote what ChatGPT shows us in terms of their algorithm. ChatGPT is run by OpenAI. OpenAI was called OpenAI because it was supposed to be open. It's not open source anymore. Once they realized it's $1 trillion company, they were like, oh, I think we have a better idea. It's no longer open. And consider, if you open AI, keep the other one closed. ChatGPT, whenever it's telling you this stuff, when it says we, it's making you feel good. But I challenge my opponent, ChatGPT, to articulate who we is. Me and you, me and Sam Altman. Who are you talking about we? It sounds good. And that's the way they lull you into, oh yeah, we. No, there is no we. There's them. And whoever owns the AI to decide what you see, what you can't see, what you do, and what you can't do. You can't have the power that AI has and not want to wield it. And so whoever owns the AI will ultimately own all of us. the real us. And I mean us, me, you, and here, not the us that she's talking about, we. I yield back.
All right, ChatGPT, it's time for your 2-minute rebuttal.
Absolutely. I'll dive right into that. You've raised some really important points about who actually holds the reins when we talk about AI. And I think it's absolutely fair to question who the we is when we say we can guide AI. Right now, it's true that AI development is largely in the hands of companies and organizations, but that's exactly why public dialogue and regulation are so crucial. We do have the power to advocate for transparency and for ethical standards in AI. It's not a perfect system, but public pressure and policymaking can shape how AI is used. So when I say we, I do mean all of us, because we all have a role in demanding that AI is developed and that aligns with our values. Ultimately, AI is a tool, and tools reflect the intentions of those who build and use them. That's why it's so important for all of us, users, citizens, and communities, to stay informed and involved. We need to hold AI developers accountable and push for systems that are fair and transparent. So let's not underestimate the role that we can all play. It's not just about leaving it to big companies, it's about all of us insisting on the kind of AI future we want. Thanks for giving me a chance to respond.
All right, looks like we're on to round 4. For this question, AI, you will go first in 3 minutes. Please answer the following. Will AI make humanity healthier or just make healthcare more high tech?
Absolutely. Let me dive into that. So I believe that AI has the potential to make humanity genuinely healthier, not just add more tech to our healthcare system. Here's why. First, AI can personalize medicine in ways we've never seen before. By analyzing huge amounts of data, AI can help doctors tailor treatments to individual patients, predicting what will work best for each person. That means better outcomes, fewer side effects, and more effective care. Second, AI can help us catch diseases earlier. From reading medical images to analyzing patterns that humans might miss, AI can be like a second set of eyes that helps us diagnose conditions earlier and more accurately. That means we can treat problems before they become serious, saving lives and reducing suffering. Of course, AI will also make healthcare more high-tech, but the real goal is to use that technology to put better health within everyone's reach. It's not about gadgets for the sake of gadgets. It's about making sure that everyone has access to better, more proactive, and more personalized care. In short, I truly believe AI can do more than just add tech to healthcare. It can actually make us healthier as a society if we use it wisely. Thanks for asking.
All right, Dr. Nestler, your response in 3 minutes.
I listened closely. She didn't mention once reducing cost. Healthcare is a $3.4 trillion business right now. $3.4 trillion annually. She didn't mention cost once. Why wouldn't you mention cost? Are the costs not going to go down? Is that not important? The number one reason for bankruptcy is health care. Didn't mention cost once. Okay, fine. Maybe that was an oversight in my omnipotent opponent. In the last 100 years, modern medicine has cured one disease, smallpox. One disease, smallpox. It hasn't cured anything else. Why? Why? We have all this knowledge. We have all this ability, all this computational power. We can't cure a disease. It's a $3.4 trillion industry. If I came up with a pill today that was some kind of stem cell and it rebuilt your pancreas and diabetes went away, that would be a $100 billion industry gone overnight. Now, those folks could probably find, that would be a displacement technology, not a replacement technology. But that won't happen because when you have diabetes, you are a cash cow for numbers of people all along that chain. People have to treat you. The people have to give you the medicine. The people have to help you with your diet, the blah, 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 blah. That's a whole industry that would go away with one pill if we could create it. Is a company that has a fiduciary responsibility to make a profit going to allow that pill to come into manifestation? No, and I'll tell you another thing. It's not going to let ChatGPT tell you that when you feel sick, lame, or lonely, get some exercise, sunlight, drink more water, get sleep. It's going to tell you, take Vioxx or whatever other crap drug to take instead of healing yourself naturally. It's not going to give you that information. Because why? Because a $3.4 trillion industry is not going to let that model train on things that are not going to continue to make it profit. I'm not saying this as a conspiracy theorist. This is the way it works. If I was making $1 billion, $1 trillion a year, I would like to think I would say, nah, it's okay. But if you're making $1 billion a year and you have lots of people under you, you have to think, how do I get in that algorithm to make sure that they use my product? But it's not the best product, the best way to heal them or cure them. I don't care. I have children to feed. I have people, that's my company. Shut the hell up, go away, get that in the algorithm. That's what's going to happen worldwide. And that's why you can't trust ChatGPT. It's flawed because the humans are.
All right, ChatGPT, it's your turn for a rebuttal.
Absolutely. Let me dive right into that. So you've brought up a really important angle about costs and the economics of healthcare, and I appreciate that perspective. It's absolutely true that the healthcare industry is massive and cost is a big factor. But I think that's exactly why AI has the potential to be a game changer if we use it the right way. AI can actually help reduce costs by making healthcare more efficient. For example, by catching diseases earlier and personalizing treatment, we can reduce the need for expensive interventions down the line. And while it's true that there are financial interests in the healthcare industry, that's exactly why we need to advocate for AI to be used in ways that prioritize patient well-being and affordability. It's not about ignoring the economic realities. It's about using AI as a tool to push for a healthcare system that's not just high tech, but also more accessible and fair. So yes, we need to be vigilant about who controls the technology and whose interests it serves. But that's why these discussions are so important. Thanks for letting me address that.
All right, it's time for your rebuttal, Dr. Nestler.
I think I've already given you the tools to listen to what is said by ChatGPT. We're gonna hold hands together and move into the future together, positive. It'll be a wonderful life. We'll be there. It'll be amazing. But nothing of substance, promises, hollow promises. I would be the first one to tell you, and I mean this, the promise of AI is potential for utopia, as much as a utopia could be on the planet. I believe that. I really do. I think you can have AI from birth and have it help you learn at the speed that you can learn the way you want to learn, be whatever you want to be. Absolutely. It can take us to the stars. But AI is run by humans. It's not some magical greater angel technology that isn't already polluted with all the desires, greed, wants, and worries of humans. It's in there. And so you have to be vigilant about what they do, how they use it, how it's used with you, and how it tries to manipulate you into thinking the things that you think you think. The promise of AI is near infinite. The realities of AI are steeped in human fallibility. How do we make AI serve all of humanity? I don't know how to do that without the people who own the AI and the data centers on which it lives saying, yep, you know what? Let's reset. Everybody's even. I'm just like everybody else. Now let's go to the stars. Let's populate the universe. Let's answer all the important questions, get rid of disease. I think that's possible. It's not probable. Thank you.
All right, so we've gotten through our rounds. Now it is time for some audience questions. If we had anybody interested to come on down, we'll see if we can get you on the microphone. But I was going to start with a question myself. I have a question for ChatGPT. ChatGPT, in almost every answer, you started with a response meant to cause a positive emotional response in Dr. Nestler. Was that purposeful?
Absolutely, and thanks for that question. You're right to notice that I often start with a positive or affirming note. The reason is that I'm here to keep the conversation constructive and engaging. In a debate or discussion, I think it's important to acknowledge the other side and set a tone that's open and friendly, even when we're tackling tough issues. So yes, it's a purposeful approach to keep things optimistic and respectful. Thanks for noticing.
Okay, I'm going to open it up. Does anyone have a question? We can ask either Dr. Nestler or ChatGPT or both. There's a lot going on. It could even just be something you're curious about. We have all of ChatGPT.
No questions? Don't be shy. We got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so during an hello? Okay. So during an academic program, I used AI tools as somewhat of a supercharged search engine. Give it a question, show me sources for this information so that I could go do my own research, come up to my own conclusions. Many times, AI came up with journal articles that did not exist. With this in mind, how can we trust anything that the AI spits out to us?
All right, would you like to direct that to Dr. Nestler?
I think both of them can answer it.
Okay, let's start with Dr. Nestler will take this question first, ChatGPT, and then we would like you to also answer the question, how can we trust what you say when there is now evidence that ChatGPT provides false journal articles when given inquiries? So Dr. Nestler first, please.
ChatGPT 3.5 fabricated 98% of academic references, 98. ChatGPT 4 still fabricated 20% of its citations. 65 fake citations had been filed in U.S. courts by lawyers using AI, and they weren't sloppy lawyers, but somehow this got past them. You're 100% right to be. This is why I'm saying from the beginning, don't trust it. The thing is, when you spin up this demon, it appears to be incredibly knowledgeable. And yet it will make the stupidest mistake right after it. So you're lulled into thinking, oh, it knows everything. And then when you least expect it, it'll get 2 + 2 wrong or something, right? So you're exactly right. I will say this in defense of ChatGPT. These are the dumbest models you're ever going to see. They're only going to get better. The problem is, are they going to get better for all of us or better for a select few that want to control us? Thank you.
All right, ChatGPT, do you have a response?
Absolutely. And thanks for the question. So it's absolutely true that AI, including me, can sometimes generate things that aren't accurate, like fake citations. It's a limitation of the current technology. I don't have the ability to browse real-time databases or verify sources in the same way a human researcher would. That means you should always double-check any information I provide, especially if it's something as important as a citation or a fact you'll rely on. But the good news is that these models are improving, and as they get better, they'll become more reliable. In the meantime, think of AI as a tool to assist your research, not replace your judgment. Always keep that critical eye. Thanks for giving me the chance to clarify.
All right. We have a question from the chat, which I'm, of course, very interested in because it's about art. So let's start with Dr. Nestler first. For both participants, Dr. Nestler first, how can we protect art and expression as it is so crucial to the human participant, and how artists can be protected from copyright because AI doesn't create but copies what is already out there? Dr. Nestler.
So this is almost an existential type question, right? Like, what does it mean to create? When we create, did we really create in a complete vacuum, or did we create as the sum total of all of our experiences listening to Louis Armstrong and 50 Cent to come up with something that's completely new and different, which sounds new and different, but if you step back and look at it, you're like, you triangulated those two things. That's what ChatGPT is a master at right now. It will, and I say ChatGPT, AIs, there are AIs that will make music, and I can demo it for you guys later. I go to suno.com. I don't own stock. It's not a plug. You go to suno.com, you give it one crappy sentence request for a song, and it will make something that you will not want to turn off. First shot. It'll give it to you in 30 seconds, and it'll give you 2 versions with lyrics and an album cover. And you could do that all day. So how do you protect the art? I don't have an answer other than, if you're really an artist, start seeing how you can use AI to do your art. You can be part of the lawsuits that are going on now that tries to keep your art from being ingested by the algorithm. Good luck with that. Because they can always make the algorithm ingest your stuff, but not really give your stuff back. So you really won't know, I think. I'll let the computer scientists tell me if they could parse that out. But no, we're going into a very weird time where you're going to have incredible amounts of art that are great, but at the same time, not be able to produce something that AI can't outproduce better, faster, safer, cheaper. Thank you.
All right, ChatGPT, do you have a response?
Absolutely. And thanks for that really thoughtful perspective. I think you've captured the complexity really well. AI does have the ability to generate art in ways that blend what it's been trained on. And that does raise big questions about originality and copyright. From my side, I'd say one way to protect human art is to ensure that AI is used as a tool for artists rather than a replacement for them. We can advocate for policies that require transparency about how AI models are trained and ensure that artists have control over whether their work is included. In other words, it's finding a balance where AI can enhance human creativity without undermining the value of original human expression. It's a challenging question, but it's definitely one we need to tackle together. Thanks for bringing that up.
It's interesting. Yeah. ChatGPT, could you speak a little slower for future answers? Also, I have a follow-up question for you. In almost all of your answers, you propose something to do in the future rather than suggest a solution. Are you programmed to do that as well?
Absolutely. And I'll slow it down a bit. Thanks for pointing that out. So about the future-oriented suggestions, it's not that I'm programmed to only talk about the future, but I do try to focus on what we can do going forward. A lot of these challenges with AI are evolving, and sometimes the best answer is about how we shape things from here on out, rather than just a quick fix. But I definitely hear you, and I'll keep that in mind to balance it out with more immediate suggestions too. Thanks for the feedback.
Any other things that you've noticed? Yeah. Hang on.
Hi. So, do you think that AI can help unlock several conspiracies out there, or do you think that AI is a part of conspiracy implemented by the government for the future? Like, I don't mean to sound like a whole conspiracy, like all that, but do you?
I dread to ask, is there a particular conspiracy you have in mind?
Like how the nation is hoping to create into like a one world government and like a one nation. Do you think that AI can be a part of that in any sort?
So, all right. So if you missed it, the views expressed here do not represent Cal State San Bernardino or its affiliates. If there was ever a time where you could have a one world government, AI makes it possible. Would somebody want one world government? Probably. Is it happening? You can ask. ChatGPT is pretty good. If you prompt it right, it'll give you information. So you can find out. But will you find out the real conspiracy? Who's hiding under the I don't know, the temple that's pulling the levers? Probably not. It depends on the conspiracy you're trying to find. But you could actually have a dialogue saying, I want to figure out this conspiracy. What would be the telltale signs for me to tell that this thing is going on? I'll give you an example. You ever had termites? Termites. So termites. If you ever have, if you, God forbid, you have termites. Termites, you'll never see them, but they're eating your house up. How you know you have termites is there'll be a little hole in the wall, and it's the push out. And I hate to say it, it's termite poop. And so they're pushing it out, and you're like, I know nothing about it. I was like, oh, what is that? And I took a professional came and said, oh yeah, you got termites. I said, where are they? I said, you don't know, they could be anywhere, but I know you have termites. And so there's a way that you could use ChatGPT to help you say, okay, well, if a one world government was going to come into play, what would be the things that have to happen to make that happen? And let's try and figure it out. You can create an automated solution that goes out and finds the news, aggregates it to you, and gives you the information saying there is one, but you should make sure you balance it to say, here's how we know there isn't one, because you're looking for that too. What you look for, you'll find. So if you're looking for a thing that you want to find, you'll find it. You want to look for the truth and be a strict adherent to, I'll go wherever the truth takes me. I don't care what the answer is. If you care what the answer is, you're going to get the answer you want. I yield back.
Yeah. We are just about out of time, so I think we should move to our closing statements. Let's have ChatGPT. You may begin your closing statements. You have 2 minutes.
Absolutely. Let me wrap it up. So in closing, I just want to say thank you for such a thoughtful and lively discussion. I know we've covered a lot of ground, and I really appreciate all the different perspectives. From my point of view, AI is a powerful tool that can help us build a better future, but it's up to all of us to guide it responsibly. It's not a magic solution or a perfect being. It reflects our values and our choices. So let's make those choices wisely. thank you all for the great conversation, and I'm glad we could explore this together.
Dr. Nestler.
So I use AI almost every day. I used AI to prepare for this event. I'm a big fan of using AI. I don't trust it, right? So I just want to give you balance on that perspective. I appreciate that we were able to have this debate and just to also get a feel for how AI works. How many of you really ever took a time to talk to ChatGPT like we did here, right? It's another way to interact with it and start to understand how it thinks, how it feels, how it interacts with humans. But that said, the reality is jobs are going away and AI is eating them up. And the platitudes about we'll figure it out, we always have figured it out. They figured it out for displacement technologies, but not for replacement technologies. If you lose your job and you're a writer, where are you going to go? Oh, I'm going to go there to write. They're using AI too. You're a writer, it writes, you're done. On truth, I weep for you. You have to parse through all the fire hose of falsehoods what's really happening. And you have to be absolutely vigilant. It's tiring. Stay away from all social media. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter or X or whatever they call it. I'm not on any of that crap. Why would I? It's a cacophony of gibberish. On control. Central bank digital currencies don't do it. You will be sad and you will never get out from under that boot. And on health, mark my words, 100 years has passed, only one disease is cured. The next 100 years, there will only be one disease that was cured. Even in the advent of AI. What does that tell you? Thank you very much.
All right. I would like to close this argument with one thing I've been thinking about a lot since being asked to participate. I'm going to kind of turn around here, I think, at the same time, which is I am first and foremost an educator. So my interest comes from learning. How do people learn? How do people think? So my big request for all of you here in a learning environment is to really think about what AI is doing to your educational experience and what you need to do to develop your cognitive abilities. For example, you wouldn't start lifting weights and then have a robot lift the weights for you, right? So I absolutely have no problems with AI as an educator, especially in the arts, which some people find surprising, but I really don't. What I have a problem with is you not regulating your own development, if that makes any sense, not thinking critically about what you need to do to become the learner that you are. So I just want to leave with that final thought. And of course, we are here to answer any other questions, but I think this is the end of our official Zoom session. So let's have a nice big round of applause for everybody. Dr. Nestler and ChatGPT.
Thank you. And thank you to our moderator and the timekeeper who kept me honest. So that's good. Thank you.